Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Medicine for the Mind with your man, Pastor Boyd. Some people just call me Boyd, others just call me friend. Welcome to the first episode of 2023. I am excited about this year, about uh what is awaiting for us this year. Oh man, I am really excited about it. How many of you out there are excited about? Put in the comments. Put in your comments. Say I'm excited. I'm excited too. This is going to be a miraculous, miraculous year. Glory to God. And um, I'm excited about it because it's a year that we've never seen before. We're never going to see it again. And it's a year that gives me an ability to start over at the beginning of the year, ability to start over. But not only that, but it gives us the ability to paint what we want to happen throughout the rest of this year. You know, it truly is real that you reap what you sow. What you sow, you are actually setting up your future by what you're doing now. And so at the beginning of the year, it's a great time to make some decisions and some choices that perhaps, you made not so good choices most of the year. And to make the decision to get myself together to uh, actually live this thing called recovery. It can be the best decision of your life, the best decision. And so I just want to say that. And I also want to say that if you are listening to me, that means you made it. You made it through 2022. And whether you made it with everything intact or whether you made it with just by the, like my mother would say, by the skin of your teeth, you're still you still made it. And how many of you made it sober? You made it without being experiencing or indulging in your addiction. Yeah, how many of you made it? How many of you made it? Put it in your comments. Say, I made it. I made it. Where you made it may not have been November, but yet you made it through December. You may not have made it the first 2 weeks of December, but you made it through Christmas. You might not have been one that made it through Christmas, but between Christmas and New Year's, you got yourself together and decided, I want to do something different. Yes, you made it. 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 And you ought to be excited about that. Well, if you think last year prompted a change in your life, you get ready for this year. It is going to be one of the greatest years you have ever experienced, because not because you're going to just osmosis is going to take place. It's just going to drop out of the sky. It's going to drop in your head. No, because you're going to be able to make better decisions, because you're going to be equipped to do better things with greater knowledge, different behaviors. You're going to begin to do different things, and you're going to get different things. And what you're going to love is how to do new things, because the only way you can have access to new things, you have to begin to do something new. All right. Well, today we want to talk about breaking the cycle of addiction. I know that break this we've discussed this in times past, but I want to discuss it again. Why do I want to discuss it again? Because this is a cycle. Everything runs through a cycle. The number system, it goes through the cycle of tens, and when the 10, it goes over to 20s, and 20s become another set of 10s that end up in 30. And 100 is just another 10 that ends up in thousands. And thousands is another 10 that ends up with 10,000s. You get what I'm trying to say? Everything is really a cycle. When you cut a tree, they begin to have rings in the tree to determine how long the tree has been planted on the earth. Do you know those rings is a picture of a cycle? Everything in life is just a cycle. My grandfather had a relationship with my grandmother that gave birth to my mother. My mother had a relationship with my father that gave birth to me. I have a relationship with my wife that's giving birth to my children, 7 of them, and we're going to go through the same cycle of getting older and older and older. Everything is a cycle. You have the right now we're in the throes of winter, but then there's going to be a spring, and then there's going to be a summer, and then there's going to be a fall, and then there's going to be winter again. It's going to be a cycle. So if I gotta live the cycle anyway, I might as well live a cycle that I like. If I gotta live it anyway, I might as well enjoy it. I might as well accomplish something. I might as well reap what I've been sowing. Well, I want you to listen to this particular passage of scripture, and it's found in the book of Proverbs chapter 3. Now, don't turn me off. I want you to know we are believers here. This is a Christian way of dealing with addiction and how to be free. Okay, so listen. This is what the New Living Bible says. The New Living Bible says in Proverbs 1, 23. This is what it says. My child, don't lose sight of common sense and discernment. Wow. So this is what it says. Don't lose sight of common sense and discernment. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Listen to what it says. Hang on to them, for they will refresh your mind. They are like jewels on a necklace. They keep you safe on your way, and your foot will not stumble. So there are common sense, practical things you can do to stay out of the cycle of addiction and into the cycle of sobriety. Come on, type it up in your comments. Say, let me hear it. If you're going to have a cycle, it's either going to be a cycle of addiction or a cycle of sobriety, a cycle of self-control, a cycle of life on life terms. Well, how do you do this? Well, I want you to understand it. When I was in Germany, we were traveling on Autobahn, and we got caught up in a storm. There was a hailstorm took place, and while we were traveling, when the storm started, we got to our exit, but we didn't recognize it, so we didn't take the exit. And on the Autobahn, it's not like driving on 95, Highway 20, or 85. The next exit is not like a mile up the road or 3 miles up the road or 4 miles, 5 miles. The next exit is about 40 or 45 miles away from you. So, man, it's a journey to your next exit. Well, we got in the storm, missed our exit. Then we got off at the next exit, which was about 40 miles, 45 miles away. And then we turned and got back on the Autobahn, and we were wide open and ran into the same storm. And when we ran into that storm, we got to our exit. Hell was hitting the car, all kinds of stuff. And guess what? We missed our exit again. Y'all, we had to drive all the way to the next exit, which was another 35, 40 miles away. Took us a while to get there. Then we had to drive, we turn around and get back on the Autobahn and drive back again. And when we got into that storm, we were so traumatized by what had happened before when we missed it the last time, that we were determined not to miss our storm, not to miss our exit, and to get off this highway, this route. Well, that's what happens in a cycle. When you are trapped in addiction, oftentimes you find yourself in the midst of a storm and you want to stop. You want not to not use. You want to change your life, but you go right back into the cycle. It happens over and over and over again. So let me define what addiction is. Let me define what this thing that we deal with on a consistent basis, the addiction. First of all, it is misuse. Listen to this. Addiction is defined as an obsessive thinking and compulsive need for drugs, alcohol, food, sex, gambling, or anything despite the resulting negative consequences. You hear that? Anything that I keep on thinking about, becoming compulsive, I participate in it. I begin to drink. I begin to use drugs. I begin to have eat all the time. I begin to obsess over sex, gambling, the rush of the feeling of gambling, and no matter what the consequence is, I can't stop. I want you to know you are in a cycle of addiction. Do you hear me? You are in the cycle of addiction. So this is how addiction begins. This is how it starts. First of all, it starts with misuse. You begin to use whatever it is, and to alleviate emotional or physical pain, a person might experiment with drugs or alcohol or whatever, gambling or sex or food or whatever it is, to deal with an emotional issue. Ultimately, one may use drugs, alcohol, or food or whatever in a social setting and decide to try them again just for fun. Relieve the feeling of discomfort, the person will continue to use drugs or alcohol a second time, a third time, and so on. So that's when you begin to misuse whatever it is that you become addicted to. Misuse is when I'm, watch this, using this to cope with my emotional pain. Whenever when I've seen it, whenever I get something to eat, then I feel like everything's all right. As soon as I stop, then there is guilt and shame. Now I got to get back to eating something else. I got to get back to using something else, some other drug or drinking or something to ease the pain of emotionalism. Number 2 goes on to abuse. That was misuse. Abuse kicks in. Soon as the person increases use to maintain the desired effects of euphoria and escape from reality, the original problems are left unattended and unresolved. If the person didn't have problems at the onset of use, problems will now have been created as a result of use. Consistent attempts to satisfy the body's craving for drugs or alcohol or sex or gambling or whatever it is become the person's new reality. That's when you know you're in total addiction. In total addiction. What do you mean? What do you mean total addiction? When you get this euphoric sense, this happiness, this feel good takes place. The what I call it feel good juices take place. Now all you want is the next fix. All you want is the next bite to eat. All you want is the next puff, marijuana. All you want is to use a little bit more heroin. All you want is the next drink. All you want is the next person that to have sex with. All you want is the next meal. All you want is the next opportunity to gamble. Because if you win, boy, you're going to have this feeling of euphoria. And it doesn't make a difference what I'm giving up. I am constantly chasing after the feeling of euphoria. Last, number 3, addiction. Great time and effort is spent acquiring the drug or alcohol or whatever it is that you're using. After the addict or the addict or alcoholic is completely entrenched in the cycle of addiction, the health, financial, social, emotional consequences appear. The addict may just feel that they have been unlucky. Sometimes be like, I'm just unlucky. Just don't nothing ever work out in my way. No. You reap what you sow. Or they blame the consequences on others instead of the addiction. If you wouldn't have did this, then I wouldn't have got high. The reason why I got high was because I got sick and tired of you, and you got me so upset that I had to go out and do something. I had to calm down some kind of way. Anybody would drink after all the hell I've been through messing around with you. All of it is blamed on someone else. You're in a full-blown addiction. A full-blown addiction, whether it's food, whether it is drugs, whatever it is. So let's look at this. All right? Let's look at this. I'm going to give you a picture of it. Here we go. First of all, at the top of the screen, I hope you can see this, coping skills are there. But let's go a little bit further. You got frustrated. You're upset. He keeps getting on your nerves. Your friend came by and you decide to hang out with him. You said you weren't going to use, but somebody died. It was the holidays. After all, it was just New Year's. You were like, well, I might as well go on and do it. I might as well get a drink. I might as well participate. And then once you and the group or whoever it is that you start using your drug of choice, this is what happened. They stop normally, but sometimes they don't even stop. You can't stop, even if you wanted to. You can't stop. So when you get to that place where you can't stop, then consequences start taking place. First of all, you start feeling ashamed. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? When you start feeling ashamed that, man, how could I have messed up again? How could I promised that I wouldn't do that. I promised I wouldn't do that. And why am I doing this? I seem like I keep messing up. And I just don't know what I'm going to do. Yes, you're in a cycle of addiction. Then you destroy relationships. Then your money starts to become a little funny. You lose your job. You tell them I'm out this week because of COVID. And then when a week goes by and you no longer have COVID because you ain't had COVID in the first place, then you found another excuse. Well, I had to pick my baby up from baby because she now got COVID, and I can't come back if she got COVID. Now I got all this stuff starts telling lies. Then you have mental health issues. If you you're in that thing, you're constantly feeling depressed. You're constantly feeling wore out and ashamed and guilt. And then you start feeling so low that you gotta use. Then if you don't watch out, bam, woo. Then there is legal issues. Either you get to fighting with somebody over they owe you some money, or you get caught with with drugs on you, contraband, whatever it is, and then the pain kicks in. And when the pain kicks in, that's when you say, I got to make a change. So that's just half the cycle. How many times have we decided we were going to make a change and it was going to happen and we were going to continue to do right, but found ourselves doing wrong? Right, wow, wow. So you stop. Then you deal with the consequence of stopping. You start to feel better. You start to feel a relief. Woo! Baby, I ain't gonna do it no more. Then your wife lets you back in the bedroom because you were sleeping on the couch, or your husband starts coming back home, or he begin to come back and you say, I trust you again, or whatever. Your kids, you doing what's right, and they say, CPS says, if you stay clean for the next 6 months and visit and consistently never show up under the influence, you get your kids back. Everything feels like it's working out. But what you don't realize is there are other consequences that's going to happen. There are the consequences. Now, the consequences, here we go. Listen to this. Those other consequences are the consequences of not using. Because in order for you to deal with emotions, you've been using a drug. You've been using food. You've been using sex. You've been using gambling. You've been using something to deal with the emotions. And the people that you used to hang out with, you're not hanging out with them anymore. They're not your friends anymore. You trying to avoid them. So there are consequences of stopping. What are the consequences of stopping? Well, the consequence is this. I get bored. Then the next consequence, I get depressed all of a sudden again. Now, because I used to use a stimulant, I don't feel the hype that I used to feel. Now I feel real low and I'm depressed and I got to go to the doctor and get some type of medicine to help me feel better. Then I go get the medicine and the medicine makes me sleepy. It makes me like a zombie. So now I feel not myself. Then you get restless and you feel anxious. And then you have the great encounter. And what do you call the great encounter? It's the point when you get to a place where you say, just forget it. I'm tired of this pain. I'm tired of being lonely. Don't seem like I got any friends. The people at church ain't hanging out with me. I can't depend on everybody. My mom and my daddy and them can't depend on me. Such and such and got nasty with me, and I feel like they abandoned me. Now I feel like I'm alone. And now the only people that will accept me are the friends from yesterday. And I know if I go over there, I'm gonna use again. I'm gonna do it again. And so just forget it. And you stop, and then that's when the cycle starts all over again. You get to that coping skills, and then you start using. But if you get to the top and you learn how to have coping skills that you can use to help you deal with the boredom, to help you deal with the depression, to help you deal with the restlessness, to help you deal with the anxiety, the stress. If you can learn skills that will help you stay out of the cycle of addiction, you can break the cycle and start a cycle of sobriety, a cycle of self-control, a cycle of living life on life terms. So now I got to give you some I call it I got a little bit of time. Man, I think it might be a little bit longer tonight. I just might have to stay on just a little bit longer. I just might have to do it. Listen, the first thing is this. You get to a point where I call it the contemplation stage. The contemplation stage, look at here. The contemplation stage, okay, it is this. The addict has not yet considered stopping the behavior or use of substance. You went through that. The contemplation, that's pre-contemplation. Contemplation state, the addict is starting to consider making a change in behavior. You know, that's what I know I need to do this. I know I need to do better. I need to do better. I need to do better. That's contemplation. The preparation stage. This is when the addict or whoever it is, the one that's addicted to whatever it is mentally and possibly physically prepared to make a change. Then the fourth stage is this. You take action. You take action. The addict has taken an action such as seeking treatment, self-help groups, counseling, treatment has been provided, and the addict has stopped using, stopped drinking, stopped smoking, stopped gambling, stopped whatever it is. Then the fifth stage is the maintenance stage. And that's where I want you to get to. I want you to get to the place where you begin to maintain your new lifestyle and behavior following a recovery program or an intervention or a decision to stop. Are we there? Are we there? So what are you going to do? The next time you got to you feel like you're about to do something, you want to get high, you want to drink, you want to eat, you want to make that solicit that phone call that you shouldn't make, whatever it is, listen to this. This is how you break the cycle. Now, I got to tell you this. Listen to these words. Developing coping skills to contradict and to counteract substance use as a solution to the consequences associated with emotional pain is how you break the cycle of addiction. That's how you do it. You break it practically. You have a coping skill to handle boredom. You have a coping skill to handle stress. You have coping skills to handle anxiety. You have a coping skill to handle fear. You have a coping skill to handle being lonely. You have coping skills to deal with this. Now, what are the coping skills? That's what we want to discuss. That's what we want to discuss. I'm going to give you the total answer for how to break this cycle. Number one, listen to this. Number one, talk therapy is a therapy based on the simple idea of talking, that talking about your thoughts and emotions can bring you clarity and cause positive change in your emotions. Positive change in your emotions. The next one is self-care. Self-care means I do start doing some things for me. I go get my nails done. I go get my hair done. I take myself out to dinner. I start doing things that I left undone. I go and I go to the doctor. I go get my teeth cleaned. I get my eyes checked. Self-care. Not only self-care, hear this. Drinking tea often works. My wife, I'm telling you, she's a tea drinking something. The next two D's, it almost like that's her coping skill for life. She drinks tea and she takes a bath. Listen, I am Mr. Bubbles. I like to call myself Mr. Bubbles. I recognize when my wife has run out of bubbles and I go get her some bubbles. and make sure she had tea, all the tea she wants, because that's the way she copes with multiple situations. What if it's stress, or she's been in school too late, or she's just trying to wind down after she's got out of clinicals, because my wife's in college, in nursing school, and she going clinicals, whatever it is. I got her a chair, what you call it, what a massage chair. She got a big one of those. She gets to getting her massage. Listen, she practiced this. These coping skills not only are just for regular life, but they're also for a life of addiction. She listens to music. All three of them. She drinks tea, takes a bath, and listens to music. When she's listening to music, I know that she's really upset. She done got mad at me or something. But hey, it keeps her from beating me. I'm just joking. My wife not beating me. But it keeps her from beating me. Listen, and then the next one is write your feelings down. Get you a book, get you a journal, begin to write new ideas, write about your feelings, think about your feelings. So when you put your feelings down on paper, they will help you. I'm telling you, they will help you. When you put your feelings down on paper, you can then organize yourself, and you can then you can feel your way through whatever you're going through. Next one, talking to someone about how you feel. Family, friends, counselor, etc. You got to talk about it. Men don't like to talk about it. Because it seemed like if we talk about our feelings, traditionally, you weak. But listen, if you don't talk about it, you will use about it. Did you hear that? If you don't talk about it, you use about it. Might as well talk to somebody. Talking is a relief. Is a release that gets it out of you. You got to get the trash out your mind. Next one, exercising, walking, bike riding, doing going to the gym. If you're financially not able to do some of this, listen to this. You can start by going to the YMCA. And if you don't, and ask for a scholarship. Listen, you do what you got to do to stay addiction free. Okay? And living that way. The next one is start reading a book. One good book, lady was talking to me today. She said, I'm going to start reading the Bible. I said, well, that's a darn good book for you to read. If you get it, start reading it, man, it'll bless your life. You can start reading something about it, researching things that you wanted to find out about people in the Bible, and you can start sending some of those questions to me on Facebook Messenger or emailing us or whatever, and I can start telling you where to find it and all kinds of stuff. That can change your life. Next one you want to start doing. Go to a 12-step meeting. Meet new people. Go to Bible study. Join a ministry. Join some type of ministry that you fit in. Maybe it's the cooking ministry. Maybe it's the van ministry. Maybe it's the choir. Maybe it is making booties when you knitting booties for the newborn babies at the church. Do something that will take your mind off of participating in your addiction. Establishing new relationships. Go to festivals. Go to different places. Go to the museum and meet some new people that are not addicted. Some new people that are not always talking about getting high. Not always talking about women. Not always talking about drinking. Not always talking about food. Not the big woman's food group where all of y'all sit around and cook the biggest meal. If that's what your problem is, you don't want to hang out with folk that's trying to get you to eat. You want to hang out with people that don't function like that. Finally, my wife does this one as well. Listen, draw or paint or color. Woo! If you start doing something and having different coping skills, and then you begin to understand how you can live your life completely substance free, addiction free. You know, there is one way you can totally get free. And it'll help you every moment. In any moment, in every moment. Look at this. This is one of the greatest prayers I think that has ever been created. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. If you can pray that prayer when things get rough and not fall back into the cycle that you were in called addiction, listen, your life will improve greatly. Improve greatly. Your desire to participate in the addiction will drop uh, uh, in a precipitation. It'll drop like rain drops, snow. It'll just begin to drop and lower and lower and lower until finally it'll be a distant memory from the last time you used or did the thing you were addicted to. Well, I hope this has blessed you. I hope this has helped you. Welcome to uh, uh, the new lifestyle of living addiction free. If you would like to get in contact with me, all you have to do, all you have to do is contact us at Medicine for the Mind 919 at gmail.com, or send us a message on Facebook, on Messenger. Send us a message. We'll be there for you. We will do whatever we can do to help you remain addiction free. Well, this has been your boy, not your coach. This has been your friend, Boyd, Pastor Boyd, whatever you want to call me. I just want to see as many people free as possible. Well, share this and do this, and you will live addiction free.